I will never forget the day that made me realize how passionate I am on this topic as it opened a career path I'm making my way into. Somewhere in Mexico, and it is early 2014. There I was sitting with my friend Laura outside the green area of our high school. We were working on our English homework while exchanging tips about the romantic relationships we had. As the giggles and intellectual questions were circulating around, I had received a call from my neighbor Lillian that she needed me to respond immediately. I left Laura for a bit and picked up the phone. Kaylee, I just wanted to let you know how proud of you I am, and you know you can count on me for anything, she said. Thanks. Why this suddenly? Are you okay? I asked. All I can hear is silence in the background as she was trying to find the right words to tell me what basically prepared me for the unexpected. Something happened to Mariana, but thank God she's still here with us. I will tell you everything when you get back home. Out of curiosity and trying to figure out what was going on, we reunited at home, and she told me that our friend Mariana was sexually harassed in public and she was found in a state of trauma. My heart was crumbled into pieces right there when I heard this coming out of Lillian's mouth. As she begged me to keep this a secret and not to bring it up with anyone, I had to respond to her with a gut-wrenching yes. As much as I wanted to reach out to my friend, I had to respect her wishes on the matter. As years passed by, I noticed this pain in Mariana's expression she used to hold on to. It turned into bravery of not staying quiet anymore, where more situations like this had worsened and arisen. Unfortunately, that situation didn't stop there. I even went through my own scare, as well as my close friends, while we exchanged our stories. Similar to Mariana, we shared our experiences where we would be verbally harassed in buses and metros, then witnessing public masturbation as we walked by somewhere around our town. As much as I was saddened and felt hopeless of these acts of feeling unsafe, something inside of me knew there needed to be change. As I am older now, I have been drawn to fixing the existing concern of pain, fear, and lack of safety for all women. My passion for social change is to advance public safety for women. This came from moving around and traveling as I noticed that there are a lot of issues that need to be addressed in protecting women against acts of violence. What increased my passion was joining Model UN while delegating in the Commission to the Status of Women, as I learned to discuss policies and collaboration in this matter. The social problem I want to work on is that women in Mexico do not have equal rights since machismo is still happening. Mexican laws do not adequately protect women and girls against domestic and sexual violence. I picked this issue because of the experiences of emotional disturbance that me and others have gone through in society. It has grown more fear of public outings over our safety anywhere we go. This is important to me due to the existing traditional stereotypes of how women are seen amongst men. I would love to work in Mexico. My parents are from there and they used to tell me stories about enjoying themselves freely in the streets. Then they left in search of a better life. And to this day, they still hold a piece of Mexico dearly to their hearts. As I fell in love with their stories, I noticed that my 7 years in Mexico were not the same. Of course, I had fun here and there, but there were also times I didn't feel safe on the streets. Despite the economic tensions and rise of violence, I was still able to see how beautiful and extraordinary the country is and the fixing that needed to be done. I wanted to be involved with the country and the behind-the-scenes perspectives, so I committed myself in the academic career to be involved with the advocacy services while creating a safe environment in the community. Keeping this goal in mind, I faced challenges in organization process to connect my ideas to the audience while addressing the necessary change in the system. I know there is a difference when I am the one taking the initiative and then being a follower of a proposal. But truth is, my strength is found in equally as what they have in common is the action that makes these roles effective. And honestly, I remember the time when I was a senior in high school when Emma Watson launched a UN Women campaign called He for She to advocate for gender equality. I was so happy for her, and while listening to her speech, I learned how to handle this issue of safety by using this idea she described as rights-based approach. I found it to be just what the Mexican society and others needed to use by encouraging all genders to partake as agents of change and act against negative stereotypes and behaviors. By building off the belief of this approach, I started to build more experience in my student organizations, and one of which was meant to develop women on poise and purpose with service and education. However, I felt it was fair to welcome both genders to lead, to serve, and most of all to make a difference. At the end of the day, it was important to me to remind myself how to handle each situation with care until dealing adversity and challenges within the Mexican state. In my ethical standpoint, using the rights-based approach will take its time to accomplish. I know I cannot expect things to change in an instant, as many others do. And here's the thing. This issue of public safety happens everywhere, not just in Mexico. For example, I remember how close we were in getting a woman president with Hillary Clinton winning the Democratic nomination in the US. But we know how things turned out after that. Many women in my college felt shamed and anxious to go out of class because of the negative environment surrounded after the election. It's going to take time to get to my goal, and I want to make sure that the women involved are encouraged to uphold the standards of my vision as we learn it will be a work in progress to get where we want to be. Now that I am a master's student here at MIS, I still look back to my experience, Mariana's, and many of my friends who have been victims of sexual harassment in public outings. I might sound like an old, wise person trying to preach on these levels, but don't get me wrong if you think that I consider men being dangerous or the worst, because they are not. There are men who are great human beings, and us women also have our flaws at times. My father taught me how to use wisdom to consider the choices that could possibly lead me to the right path on today or tomorrow, or the future. I use this value to teach myself that good or bad situations are a virtue. So there are times that I can tell my friends these experiences I have been through if they're going through something similar. Yet, I won't tell them to do the same thing. Instead, I guide them into two possible scenarios, and if they get to decide if they want to follow through it. I feel like I can use my experiential wisdom to not fight against gender. My approach to this story is to prove that both genders can develop as they wish to be in human growth. I believe both genders can play the role of what they want to be, but I am not saying that there are certain things, activities, work, etc. that one can do and the other definitely can't, because we all have the capacity to thrive. There can be a lot of scenarios put into play, but I believe we all deserve the same safety rights and the same way of living a life freely. So in handling this issue, I can use my knowledge to lead in events. Therefore, my fight is protecting the safety of all citizens, but for now, I'm just starting with my ladies.